Hi. All right. Hello, grade fours. I'm so happy to see that you're joining me for some math today. I'm going to go through this worksheet for you, and some of these things are things that are review, and some of these things are things that might be new to you. So depending on where you're at in math, how much of a math person you are, just do your best to follow along, okay? So it says, I'm going to zoom this in because I made this tiny for some reason when I made the worksheet. Okay, put these fractions in order from greatest to least. So greatest is the biggest chunk. Imagine that this is a chocolate bar, okay, and it's broken into 8 pieces. Which is the greatest, the biggest chunk of the chocolate bar, and which is the least, the smallest chunk of the chocolate bar. So the greatest the greatest part would be the one with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I need another place. 7 of the 8, that's the biggest one, right? So the numerator that's the biggest, so 7/8 is your biggest, your greatest fraction. Okay, using that rule, what's greater, 4/8 or 2/8? You're right, 4/8. 4/8 comes next. And then our last one, 2/8. So when you're doing fractions, I like to imagine food because I like food. Just imagine that you have a chocolate bar. The greatest would be 7/8 pieces of that chocolate bar if the chocolate bar is divided into 8 pieces. Then the next greatest would be 4 pieces of the chocolate bar. And then the least would be 2 pieces of the chocolate bar. Okay, number 2, we're going to do it again. Put these fractions in order from greatest to least. So when you're doing this, grade 4, you want to be looking at this top number. It's called the numerator. So it sounds ominous, but the numerator is the top number. All of these chocolate bars, so imagine that this is you and your siblings each get a chocolate bar. All of these chocolate bars are broken into 5 pieces. So here's my chocolate bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Okay, and I'm going to draw 3 of those right here, just to help you and make sure that you know what I'm talking about. So those are my 3 chocolate bars. The first one, I have 2 pieces out of the 5. The second one, I have 1 piece out of the 5. And the third one, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces out of the 5. So it's asking, so this is 3/5, this is 1/5, and this is 2/5. Okay, it's asking which is the greatest. The greatest, the biggest one, is this one here. So this one goes first, 3/5. Okay, and my next number is my next greatest one. I've already done this one, so I'm going to move to this one here. 1 2/5, 2/5. And then my least one, my smallest piece of chocolate, I might give that to my brother Sam because, I don't know, he is the youngest and needs less chocolate. Or maybe I would give him this one. I don't know. But the least one would be 1/5. 1/5. Maybe we won't tell Sam that I said he got the smallest piece of chocolate. Okay, let's go on to the next one, number 3. What fraction of this pie is shaded? Oh, I like that they're using food. I love it. Okay, what fraction of this pie is shaded? Let's count our pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 possible pieces. That's our denominator. It goes on the bottom. And we have 2 pieces shaded, so we put that number on the top. 2 out of the 7 are shaded, 2/7. If Sue, oh, I should move it so you can definitely read it. If Sue gave Jim half of an 8-piece chocolate bar, how many pieces would she have to give him? Okay, so she's going to give him half of an 8-piece chocolate bar. So let's look here. We're going to draw this one out because fractions are kind of one of those things it's best to draw out. Please excuse my drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines gives me 8 pieces. So let's pretend all those pieces are the same size. So half is going to be, each one of them is going to get the same amount. Half is breaking it into 2 equal parts. So there's 8 pieces in the chocolate bar. If I broke it in half, I would break it right here. How many am I going to give, is Sue going to give Jim? 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And then Sue, for herself or someone else, will have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces left. Okay, so she's going to have to give him 4 pieces. 4 pieces. All right, number 5. Draw $3.20 using coins. Now, the beautiful thing... Excuse me, it's very dusty in my basement today. The beautiful thing about using coins is your answer might be different than my answer, but I'm going to do my best. So I have a $2 coin. I guess I should write these values a little bit clearer. And then I have a $1 coin. So that is going to give me $3. Now I need to make 20 cents. I'm going to put a dime, which is 10 cents, and a dime, which is 10 cents, and apparently this dime is bigger than that dime. So let's count it up. $2, $3, 10 cents, 20 cents, $3 and 20 cents. Oh, it's asking for 5 coins. Maybe I should read the directions better. Okay, to make 5 coins, that's easy. I have 4 coins. Instead of doing 2 tens, I'm gonna do a 5 and a 5, a nickel and a nickel. So now let's count. I went on this big spiel about how you can use whatever coins you want, and you know what, guys? Use whatever coins you want, because I already said that. But let's just count. 2, 3, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins. This one doesn't count anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins. I'm always telling you to read the directions, and I didn't even do it myself. Okay, $3, 10, 15, 20 cents. Oh, I did it. Okay, see, if you've figured out a way to do that using 5 coins in a different way, you should share that with me. I can think of maybe one more way you could do it, but I'm not going to say it. I want to see if you guys can figure it out. Okay? If you've got some coins in your house somewhere, you could take them out and count and try to make $3.20 using 5 coins. Just trying to think. Okay, now... we are going to do some subtraction. Now, the reason I'm reviewing subtraction is subtraction with regrouping is something we need to keep practicing. Otherwise, we might lose those skills. So let's go through here. I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way to do this. If you have a different way that you like to do it, that's okay first. Or sorry, that's okay too. So Grandma and Grandpa's way, I start with my ones, I move on to my tens, and then I do my hundreds. And if I get to a question where I can't subtract because my top number is smaller, I have to borrow from the next column. Okay, so I'm going to start with my ones. 1 subtract 2, I can't do that. So I'm going to have to borrow from a neighbor. So I go over to my tens and I say, can I borrow a 10? And the 10 says, sure. So now there's 5 tens. I'm moving one of my tens over. So now I have 11 here. Now I can definitely do 11 subtract 2. 11 subtract 2 is 9. Now I'm going to move on to the tens. 5 subtract 3. I have 5 tens, subtract 3 tens. This actually means 50 subtract 30. 5 tens subtract 3 tens is 2 tens. And now I have my hundreds. 2 hundreds subtract 100 is 100. All right, now I'm going to move on to the next question. And it's asking, and for this one, I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way. But I know that I don't have any regrouping to do. Think about it. These numbers are all bigger. I don't have to do any borrowing. I can just subtract my ones, subtract my tens, subtract my hundreds. So let's do it. 6 subtract 4 is 2. And again, you can pause the video, work through this, and then press play for me to check it with you. 9 subtract 5 is 4. 3 subtract 2 is 1. So I have all of my numbers here ready to go. Now I'm going to move on to the next question. 813 subtract 700. Oh, I forgot to say it. I have 2 ones, 4 tens, and 100, 142. Okay, on to the next question. So I have 813, and I'm going to subtract 712. Now, if you were thinking, you could just think, oh, okay, that's almost 100 difference. It's going to be 101. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. But if you see this and you know it's 101 just by looking, oh, okay, and writing it down, you can do that. When I was in grade 4, that was not accessible to me at all. I needed to work through it one thing at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work through it with you. So if you look at this and you don't instantly know the answer, don't fret. Remember, Mrs. Oakes didn't instantly know the answer when she was in grade 4 either. So 3 subtract 2 is 1. 1 subtract 1 is 0. 800 subtract 700 is 100. 101. Some people, when they see that, they would instantly know in their head what it is. Some people, like me, need to work through it slowly. And either way, guys, is completely fine. Don't judge it. Don't think, ooh, this person is able to do this faster than me. That means nothing. That just means they can do math faster. Doesn't mean that they understand math better. It doesn't mean anything other than that's how their brain works, and it's different from how your brain works, and that's okay. All right, no more sidebars, Mrs. Oakes. On to the next one. 542 subtract 208. Now for this one, I can see I'm gonna have to do a little bit of borrowing, a little bit of regrouping. So let's set up so you know I have my ones, my tens, and my hundreds. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, 2 subtract 8, I can't do it. I can't do it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna borrow, cross that out, go to my tens, cross it out. Now I have 3 tens here, but I've moved a 10 over here, so now I have 12 subtract 8. You can definitely do 12 subtract 8. You could use the count up strategy if you wanted. 8, 9, 10, 11. 12. One more. So I counted up 4. Now I'm going to do this one, 10. My tens, I have 3 tens and I'm subtracting 0 tens. So I still have 3 tens left. Now I have 500s, subtract 200s. I'm going to have 300s left. Okay? Now, if this is still confusing to you and you're thinking, but I'm in grade 4 and I should know how to do this really easily, don't worry. I've noticed that you are not the only person struggling with this. I promise you. We are going to keep practicing this because everyone could get better at knowing how to use these strategies, especially Grandma and Grandpa's way. So don't fret. Don't stress. We're going to keep working on this so that when you get to grade 5, it's easy and it's in your head, okay? Now, we're going to use our multiplication facts to solve this. And you're thinking, I don't know up to 80 for 4s. It's okay, guys. We got this. So I'm gonna talk about how we can use our multiplication facts for this. So 80 divided by 4. Well, imagine that it's 40 divided by 4. 40 divided by 4 is 10, right? So 80 divided by 4 is going to be 20. Okay, because 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 20 is 80. All right, next one, 36 divided by 4. So 36 divided by 4, that one you can use a known fact. Okay, you can use a known fact. So what is 36 divided by 4? Think about it. What math fact could help you with that? What math fact could help you with 36 divided by 4? You're right. You know your 9's facts. 4 times 9 is 36. So 36 divided by 4. Let me zoom in. I'm trying to make it so it's not so distracting because these numbers are distracting me and I'm not trying to work on YouTube. Okay. 4 times 9 is 36. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Right? We're using our multiplication facts. Okay, 33 divided by 3. Okay, well, 3 times 11 is 33. So 33 divided by 3 is 11. Let's go on to the next one. 50 divided by 5. So I know that 5 times 10 is 50. And I've heard from so many of you telling me you're practicing your multiplication facts, which is amazing. So maybe this is getting easier for you the more you practice. 5 times 10 is 50. So 50 divided by 10, 50 divided by 5 is 10. I'm misspeaking and I don't want to confuse you guys. Okay, now I'm going to get a piece of paper to cover this up because I don't even know how I can focus on it, let alone you guys. So I'm going to get some sticky notes. I'm going to cover up this one. And I'm going to cover up this one. Okay, so we're just focusing on what we need to focus on. All right. So 30 divided by 3. Is that better? Is that less confusing? Because I was getting overwhelmed by the number of numbers that were there. So 30 divided by 3. 3 times, what is it? Yep, 3 times 10 is 30. 30 divided by 3 is 10. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next one. 36 divided by 2. 36 divided by 2. 36 divided by 2. Now you're thinking, my 2's facts, Mrs. Oakes, my 2's facts don't go up that high. And I know the 2's facts, you know, don't go up that high. But think about it, guys. 2, anything divided by 2 is just half that number. So opposite of doubles, or you could use known facts. So I know that 12 times 2 you could either half the number if that's something that you're able to do, or you could do 12 times 2 is 24 and count how many more groups of 2 you need to get from 24 to 36. So let's count. I'm going to make little dots while we count, okay? So 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. So I counted on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 2. So I started at 12 groups of 2 and I counted up 6 more groups of 2. So 12 plus 6 is 18 times 2 is 36. Okay. I'm going to cross that out so it's not confusing you. So all we did was we started at a known fact and we counted up how many more groups of 2 to figure out our number. So 18 times 2 is 36. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Okay? And again, this might be, you might be going, oh, I don't like this. This is another thing we need to practice together. Okay, and I'm here to help you. We're going to work through it on our videos, and you can watch these as many times as you need to until you get it, and know that there's more of this practice coming your way. Okay, moving my sticky notes so that my video is not cluttering your brain. 45 divided by 3. And again, we don't know what 3 times table equals 45 because we know up to 12 times 3. So let's do 12 times 3. 12 times 3 is 36. Okay. So let's count more groups of 3 until we get to 45. 36, 39, and for 3s, maybe I'll have to actually count with you. So 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So we started at 12 and we counted up 3 more groups. So 12, 13 groups of 3, 14 groups of 3, 15 groups of 3. So now we have 15 groups of 3 is 45. Okay, we started at a known fact and we counted up. So 45 divided by 3 is 15. Okay, now on to the next one, children. 55 divided by 5. If you've been studying your math facts, you know that 5 times 11 or 11 times 5 is 55. So 55 divided by 5 is 11. That one's easy because it's a known fact. Now, the next one. 100 divide by 5. I'm going to show you a trick for this one. Anytime you have, especially 100, 10, anything with 2 zeros on the end or 3 zeros on the end, you can do a trick to help you. So I'm going to pretend I'm working with 10, okay? What is 10 divided by 5? 10 divided by 5 is 2. And all I do, because I took a 0 away and I did 10 divided by 5 is 2. 100 divided by 5 is 2 with an extra 0. Just like this 10 with an extra 0 is 100. 2 with an extra 0 is 20. So 100 divided by 5 is 20. Now in grade 5, we will be practicing this a lot more. This is a big part of grade 5 math. And it is also part of grade 4 math. That's why I'm showing it to you. But just knowing these zeros, so 10 divided by 5 is 2, so 100 divided by 5 is 20. That's a really good skill to have for grade 5 math. Okay, let's sort myself out here so I'm not visually cluttering your minds. Now this next part, I used to really dislike these when I was in school. They made my head hurt. But now that I'm a teacher, I realize they're important to practice. So I realize they're important to practice. We're going to work on this. So Cindy, okay, I'm talking in circles here. What I wanted to tell you was, sometimes when you read a question, you go, I have no idea. I don't even know where to start with that. We're going to read the question through, then we're going to figure out ways to help us understand the question. So Cindy has 2 video games. Tommy has 3 times as many games as Cindy. Gina has 9 times as many games as Tommy. How many games do they have altogether? And you might be thinking, I don't care, Mrs. Oakes, I don't know any of these people. The point is we're practicing math, okay? So we're going to read all of this slowly. Cindy, I'm going to draw a picture. So this is Cindy. And she has 1, 2 video games. Tommy has 3 times as many games as Cindy. So I'm going to write 2 because it's drawing. It's going to get. So she has 2 video games. This is Cindy. And if you're like me, you need it drawn out simply to understand it. Okay? And Tommy has 3 times as many games as Cindy. So I'm going to draw Tommy. I don't know, Tommy. And he has 3 times as many games as Cindy. Well, we look how many she has. 3 times 2. So she has 2. You times that by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so now we know what Tommy has 6. Gina has 9 times as many games as Tommy. Oh my goodness, Gina, you've got a lot of games. So now we have to do Gina. So we look at Tommy's number and it's asking us, she has 9 times. So you have to know what is 6 times 9. 6 times 9, 6 times 9 is 54. Whew, that is a lot of games. I'm going to write Gina. And the question is asking how many games do they have all together. So now we figured out using the clues of the problem, we figured out how many each person has. And now to find out what they have all together, what do you think we should do? You're right, we should add. We're going to add these together. So 54 plus 6 and 2. What I'm going to do, guys, I know 6 and 2 is 8. If you want to do 4 plus 6 plus 2, you can. But 54 plus 6 plus 2, and now let's do it. 4 plus 8, okay, 2 plus 8 is 10. 2 more than 10 is 12. And then 50 plus 0 is 50. Now, this strategy I just used is not the way that you might be used to seeing adding. This is called partial sums. And the reason I did this is because I was just teaching it. I was just working on some grade 2 and 3 content where I was working on that. So if you did Grandma and Grandpa's way, it's fine. But this is a different way to add. So 12 plus 50. Their total number of video games is 62. Okay, 62. They have 62 video games. Oh, that's a lot of games. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the other side of our work for today. And it says checking with multiplication when there is a remainder. So it says when there is a remainder, we can still check the equation with multiplication. We just have to do one extra step. Let's take a look. So to check, so this is 23 divided by 10 equals 2, remainder 3. To check, we multiply 2 times 10 to make 20, and then add the remainder 3 to make 23. 23 is our dividend, so we know the answer is correct. So we started with 23, that's what they mean by dividend. So we know that the answer is correct. Okay, here is an example of a wrong answer. So it's 16 divided by 5 is 3, remainder 4. To check, we multiply 3 times 5. And how they're getting those is, look here and there, these two numbers, 3 and 5. We multiply 3 times 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. Okay. And then we add the remainder, which is 4. We add 1, 2, 3, 4. And we don't get 16, we get 19. So we know that there is a problem with our answer. So what should the right answer be for this equation? So let's do it. We did 3 times 5, it's 15, and we're trying to get to 16. Our dividend is 16. So how many from 15 to 16? How many do we have to add? That's right, 1. So at 15, remainder 1. Sorry, I'm not going to write it that way. That's wrong. So it would be 15, and then we put this down here. So 16 divided by 5 is 3, because 3 times 5 is 15, with a remainder of 1. Okay, that's all we have to do for this particular one. Now we're going to move on to this part down here, and it says check each equation. If it is correct, shade the box green. If it is not correct, shade the box red. Okay, so I'm just going to, for this, I'm not going to shade the whole box in, and you don't have to either. I'm going to grab 2 different colors and work with what I have. So 21 divided by 5 is 4, remainder 1. So we check with multiplication. So we look here. Well, they were using 5 and 4. So 5 times 4 is 20, right? How many we're gonna do, sorry, we check with multiplication. 5 times 4 is 20, and I add my remainder, which is 1. So 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 more is 21, and it equals 21. Okay, so this is correct. It is correct, because 5 times 4 is 20. We check with multiplication. 5 times 4 is 20, and then we add our remainder. Those are our steps. So on to the next one. 18 divided by 4 is 4 with a remainder of 2. So if we have to do this, 4 times 4, we multiply these two numbers. 4 times 4. Now what is 4 times 4? You're right, it's 16. And we have to add our remainder of 2. So 4 times 4 is 16. Add 2 more, 17, 18. Oh, it is correctamundo, because that equals 18. So that one is correct. I don't know if you can really see my shading, but I'm going to outline it in green because it is correct. Okay, my next one, 16 divided by 5 equals 3 with a remainder of 2. So we can check with that multiplication, guys. 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, and they're asking us to add 2. What is 3 times 5 is 15, 16, 17. We get 17. Does that match this? Because if it's correct, we should be getting our dividend, our first number, as our final number down here. And I don't think we are, because 16 and 17 are different. We can double check our work. Yep, 3 times 5 is 15, and then I count 2 more, 16, 17. This one is incorrect. And since I don't have red pen at home, I'm just going to use a pink pen. You can see the difference. I'm sure you can figure it out. Okay, let's move on to the next one. 34 divided by 10 equals 3 with a remainder of 4. So again, oh no, I got ink all over the place. Now to check that, clean up my ink first, blot up the ink. It's the hazards of my favorite kinds of pens. Okay, so to check it, sorry about the distraction guys, back to our work. 34 divided by 10, we check it by doing 10 times 3, so 10 times 3, and then we're going to add the remainder, which is 4. So let's read. 10 times 3 is 30, plus 4 more is 34. And if I look, 34 was my dividend to begin with, so that one is correct because it matches 34. And I'm covered in ink. That's okay. All right, on to the next one. So you might be getting good at this and you can already see the answer to this one. I look at my numbers, 76 divided by 10 is 7 remainder 2. So to check this with multiplication, all I have to do is go 10 times 7, 10 times 7, oopsie, and then I have to add in that remainder, which is 2. So let's do the adding. 10, or the multiplying and the adding. 10 times 7 is 70, plus 2 more is 72. Now, does that match our dividend? It does not. And so it's going to be red, or if you're me, pink. All right, now the next one, 25 divided by 6 is 4 with a remainder of 1. So I would go 6 times 4, which is 24, plus my remainder of 1. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 more is 25. Now does 25 match my dividend? It sure does. So this one is correct and can get green ink. Hooray for green ink. Okay, so that's our formula that we can use to check our multiplication, or sorry, check our division with a remainder with multiplication. So you do the multiplication, you multiply, and then you add that remainder back in, and it should, your final answer should match your dividend that you began with. Okay? All right, I hope that this was helpful and that you enjoy working through this math today. Okay, I hope that was helpful to you. If you're looking for more math today, remember you can always log on to SumDog or Prodigy or Reflex, but also keep it old school. If you don't have tons of screen time, or if you're like me and you don't want to look at another screen because your eyes are just like, no more screens, find a way to practice your multiplication tables. Even if that's grabbing a deck of cards and saying, okay, I'm doing 4 times table practice, and every time you flip over a card, say you flip over a 2, you go 4 times 2 is 8. Flip over another 2, maybe you flip over a 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So whatever it is that you're doing, find a way to practice your multiplication facts today. You can also get some division facts in there. So yes, there's the video, but after you're done in the video, move on and work on some multiplication and division facts if you need some more math time today. All right? So enough talking, Mrs. Oaks. Grade 4s are ready for their math. Let's get going.